Dialogue tags, the good, the bad, and the sometimes intrusive. We all know how important a precise and varied vocabulary is to our memoir writing. Words are our tools as writers to make meaning. Most of the writers I have worked with want to develop the precise and varied vocabulary that can be so helpful in writing narrative. Unfortunately, they also often believe that an extensive vocabulary is called for in dialogue tags. Welcome to the Memoir Network's Better Memoir Writing Masterclasses. For those of you who do not know me, I am Denis Ledoux. I am a writer, a teacher, and the founder of the Memoir Network. I'm so pleased you have joined me today for this video on writing dialogue tags. This masterclass is brought to you by the Memoir Network's coaching services. A writing coach offers you just-in-time solutions, be it encouraging you to persevere, providing you with technical guidance, teaching specific writing skills, prompting you to action, counseling you through writing blocks, and planning a writing schedule. Why not set up a complimentary Get Acquainted session by going to the address listed in the description? And by the way, I'll also have a bonus for you at the end of this video, so please do stay tuned. Now, let's begin the Dialogue Tag Masterclass. I'm offering you my take on dialogue tags. The point of view that I am presenting today is open to discussion. It's not set in stone. Sometimes I disagree with it myself, but here goes with my take on memoir dialogue tags. By the way, in case you are not sure of what a dialogue tag is, tags are phrases that you attach to written conversation to identify who is doing the speaking at what time. An example is, "Hello," Abby said. Now, Abby said is the dialogue tag that we are talking about. Tags belong to the voice of the writer. It is the writer who is providing tags. It is not the character. The character has spoken, and we hope that he has done so in a manner that moves the story along. He has done this in the dialogue. The author wants us to know which character has spoken and does so in the writer's voice. Abby said, which is in the writer's voice, comes from the lips of the author and not from those of the speaker. This is an important distinction. As I mentioned in several other videos, which you can find in the playlist at the bottom of this video, we want to hear speak the characters in a memoir. These characters are the author at a younger age, or they are some other character, some other person that the author has brought to the fore to say something. Characters speak in the dialogue. Tags are not the characters. They are the authors. And dialogue tags are not about bringing the author to the foreground. No. The author needs to remain in the background in any tag that is used. The author needs to be, he needs to be inconspicuous. This is not to say that we will dismiss the author or that we do not care about him. When I say author, I am distinguishing between the version of the person who is the character in your story, in your memoir, which character is in the past, and the person who is at this very moment keyboarding the story in the now, in the present. As a result of wanting the author to be present but in the background, I believe it is necessary to make tags nondescript. Generally, tags need little words and not big words. In this way, it is the character's dialogue and not the writer's attribution, that is the tag, that is in the forefront. This is very important. What I recommend for dialogue tags are nondescript words such as he said, very nondescript. She shared, also not at all intrusive. He answered, or she replied. These tags do not bring attention to themselves, and they keep the reader focused on what the character said in the dialogue and not on the tag. In offering these words, I'm not being prescriptive. This is not rocket science. I am merely trying to help you to stay on the reader's good side. There are other words, of course, that you could use to good effect, and sometimes you may want variety. When you do opt for variety, remember that it is not time for you to parade your extensive vocabulary. When we do parade our vocabulary, we might write something like, he chortled, she riposted. We might even use, he squalled, she bleated, he sniveled, and she yowled. Perhaps even, he tittered, and she chuckled. Using this variety of vocabulary, the author indulges in being the center of attention. This takes the attention away from the character, and the reader is either impressed with the variety of the author's vocabulary or is put out with her. In either case, the character loses out. Remember, as you choose alternatives to he said and she said, if you want to have some variety, be vigilant and not slip into unusual words. Not only do unusual words bring attention to the tags themselves as opposed to the dialogue, they make you sound, well, funny. Here are some more examples. She opined. He orated. None of this is to say that an extensive vocabulary need be a problem, but your extensive vocabulary is better reserved for the narrative. Even there in the narrative, vocabulary ought to be chosen for precision and not for show. If you have the least inkling that a word will stop the intelligent reader, you would do well to replace that word. This is not to encourage you, not to challenge the reader, just a little bit, but you should not bring the reader to a full stop as he reads your story. What is important in a piece of dialogue is what the character of your memoir has said. The dialogue itself ought to contain all the information you need to advance the story. You might have written, Cammy, I love you, but I refuse to continue to tolerate your behavior. It makes me sad, he lamented. Now, the dialogue contains all the info that you need, and the tag, he lamented, well, it's not bad, but it's not necessary, as the sense of lamented is evident in the dialogue. You might equally and correctly have written, he said, or you might have written, he responded. You do not always have to use a tag. The lamented dialogue is an example of this, which I will explain in just a minute. When there are only two characters in a scene, you can have them speak to each other without a tag. Generally, you can do about 3 exchanges before I would recommend you add a tag. The tag informs the reader once again as to who is speaking, and after the new tag, the dialogue can now continue for a few more exchanges without confusing the reader. Now, I know that Hemingway used to do lengthy exchanges without any tags, but I have always thought this to be confusing, and I have often found myself trying to connect who said what and when I read Hemingway. I find his long dialogue without tags to be difficult to read, so Hemingway or no Hemingway, I wouldn't recommend you indulge in this, well, bad habit. Tags also become unnecessary when the sentence a dialogue is in is a setup. That is, it clearly explains who the speaker is. Here is an example. The boy looks straight at the principal. Do you have time to speak to me about what happened? In this case, we certainly know who is speaking. Alternately, the dialogue can contain an unmistakably clear reference. For example, the boy looks straight at the principal. Sir, do you have time to speak to me? Because the speaker uses sir, we know the speaker is the boy and not the principal, who would just simply not address the boy as sir. Well, these are some of my suggestions for writing dialogue. As I've said, it's not rocket science. In every instance, you have to use your informed judgment. And how do you inform your judgment? Well, you view videos like this one. I hope this has been a helpful video. If you would like to explore receiving help with your dialogue tags or any aspect of memoir writing, we offer a 30-minute complimentary Getting to Know You coaching consultation. Our address is in the description below. Oh, and before you go, here's the bonus I promised you, a link to our video explaining direct and indirect dialogue. It will help you to be more focused in using dialogue. Good luck with writing dialogue tags into your stories, and remember that inch by inch, it's a cinch, yard by yard, it's hard. Good luck.